will kill us all. There will be nothing left.
There's an army coming that cannot be beaten.
We may not make it out of this alive, buddy. We may not make it out of this alive.
They're just going to keep coming.
There comes a time you have to make a sacrifice.
Venom, The Last Dance.
This is ground control to
How do you even know this song?
You really
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel and Sony released a bunch more footage of Venom The Last Dance. This time we actually get to hear Knull speak in a much better scene of him on his throne with the all-black, the Necro Sword. Finally answering a whole bunch of questions and confirming who is playing the character. There were a whole lot of questions after the earlier trailers just because up to this point we hadn't actually seen his face or heard his voice. Hearing him talk, most of you probably figured out instantly who is playing him. Tom Hardy and the director of the movie also just came to New York Comic Con revealing more about the future of Venom after this movie. Also talked a lot about Tom Holland's Spider-Man, so we'll break it all down. Aaron Taylor Johnson also came to the Sony panel. They showed off the opening scene from the Kraven movie, but they didn't release it online. If we do get any footage of that, of course I'll do videos. And big reminder, because Venom The Last Dance is coming out this week, my review will be posting next week as soon as I get a chance to see it. I'll do a post-credit scene video, full breakdown Easter eggs after it actually comes out. So if you're brand new to the channel, we're doing a giveaway for movie tickets. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and just post all your predictions for the movie in the comments. I know there are a billion questions about how Marvel and Sony are going to actually handle the pass-off to Tom Holland getting the symbiote and what's going to happen to Tom Hardy if he keeps saying that this is his last time as the Venom character. I think they're being a little misleading with the way they're pitching that with all the trailers. No surprise Marvel and Sony trying to mislead you with all their trailer footage. The biggest thing here, though, is Knull's scene during the trailer where he says he's going to annihilate Venom's world. That's what he's talking about, the Earth inside the Venom universe. With a much better close-up shot of him from the front while he's grasping his hands around the all-black, the primal symbiote. If you couldn't tell right away from his voice, that is Andy Serkis. A good comparison is his voiceover as Caesar from Planet of the Apes.
I will annihilate your world. World will emerge out of the blood and carnage of the past.
You might actually remember that Andy Serkis actually directed the second Venom movie with Carnage. During the trailer footage, Venom also continues to explain things to Eddie. He says the thing that they have, that Venom symbiote has, that Knull needs, is a key that will free him from his prison. This throne that we keep seeing him on in all of his scenes is on the planet Clintar, their home planet. Like, the name of the symbiote's race is Clintar, but their home planet is also called Clintar. I think this is meant to be confirmation that they're adapting some of the Venom King in Black comic book storyline. We all had theories that they were doing that, but this just makes it a little bit clearer. It's not the all-black, the primal symbiote that he wants from them because he's already holding it on his throne in the trailers. The all-black was the very first symbiote that he created. He actually used it to kill a Celestial. It's supposed to be the dead Celestial that you see during the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, the Deadhead of Nowhere. Knull is meant to be a cosmic entity that existed in the void between universes before the Big Bang, before the creation of the universe. They're changing some of his backstory for the movies, but in the comics, originally, he existed before the universe. Eternity, the living embodiment of the universe, creates the Celestials, and the Celestials task Knull with being the custodian of the space between universes, essentially making him the King in Black, the king of the black space between universes. Knull rebelled against them and began to attack them, wanting to use this to conquer the entire multiverse, also using the symbiote's race itself, and the thing that Venom has that he needs in the trailers. But one of the other big changes they're making, it seems like, for the movies is they're saying in the movies there's only one version of Knull for the entire multiverse. In the comics, there's a different version in every universe, and they go around killing each other in the comics. But their goal in the comics and in the new movies is essentially the same, conquering all of reality, like the multiverse itself, by becoming the King in Black. He's just starting with the Venom universe because he's still trapped on Clintar, their home planet, explaining why the symbiotes came to Earth in the first movie. Originally, they were trying to escape Knull and trapped him there in the process so that he couldn't follow them. The other big detail that they introduce in these new trailers are Knull's portals that he uses to send the Xenophage to Earth. They look a lot like Doctor Strange's sling ring portals. Ryan Reynolds also said that after Deadpool and Wolverine, now Kevin Feige and everyone at Marvel call them Marvel Sparkle Circles. When he was writing Deadpool and Wolverine, Ryan Reynolds couldn't remember the technical term, so he just wrote in Marvel Sparkle Circle as a temporary joke, but they liked the joke so much that it just stayed in the script, and now everybody at Marvel just uses that term. The ones that Knull is using seem a little different in that they seem more organic, more fluid-like, but I think that Sony is trying to copy Marvel, like try to piggyback on the idea of the sling ring portal itself, just use the same kind of mechanics. But the idea is that Knull is just using different cosmic energy to power his portals. It even seems like he's using the Necro Sword itself to power the portals. Like, notice that it glows this yellow-orange color. The trailer's kind of potato quality, so it's fudging the colors up a little bit. But in the other trailer footage, you actually see this glowing energy effect off the screen that he's staring at. It seems like it's coming from the sword itself. It seems like he's using the Necro Sword, like the Primal Symbiote here, the same way that Thor uses Stormbreaker in the Bifrost ability with a couple extra powers. Another big connection, because Gore the God Butcher's sword, the Necro Sword, is the all-black, the Primal Symbiote. We will see how Marvel tries to explain this after Knull winds up coming to the MCU eventually. My assumption is they'll just swerve on that and they will not explain it. Like, they'll just leave it off in the distance for fans to figure out. But I guess it is possible that in Thor Love and Thunder, Knull was just allowing Gore to use the Necro Sword. But if you look here in all these trailer shots, the actual Necro Sword seems way more symbiote-like, like tendrils wrapping around into a more sword-like shape, looking a little bit more like it does in the comics. Like a more organic-looking sword, as opposed to the one in Thor Love and Thunder that looked more like a metal sword. But the whole idea is that Thor can use Stormbreaker to open Bifrost portals across the universe. Knull seems like he's bound to his throne in these scenes, like the symbiote-looking tendrils around him look like they're binding him to his throne, so that might have something to do with him being trapped on Clintar. But he's using the Necro Sword to send the Xenophage across time and space to Earth. The trailer footage is making it seem like Venom can hear his voice just because of the way the symbiote hive mind works, connecting Knull to all symbiotes across the multiverse. Everybody remembering the post-credit scene from Venom Let There Be Carnage, like, oh, that's why he was explaining the symbiote hive mind, because they were going to be using it during this movie. That's basically what you're seeing here when you see the camera pan across what looks like time and space with all these symbiote shapes looking all ethereal. That's meant to be the inside of the symbiote hive mind. Early theory, we might actually see some Easter eggs for like the Tobey Maguire version of Venom inside the symbiote hive mind here. Knull actually created the symbiote hive mind when he created the symbiotes. He also built in a lot of backdoors that would allow him to conquer all of reality, with the whole idea of the symbiote race itself being his tool for taking over the multiverse. So in the trailers, when they talk about the key to freeing Knull, it sounds like it has something to do with the Codex, which is from the more recent Venom King in Black comics. The Venom Codex is a much bigger concept. The idea is that when Knull created all symbiotes, the Codex became the way that the symbiotes communicated back with him about all the genetic information that they encountered, bonded with across the universe, and then stored. Everything from human hosts like Eddie Brock to super powerful Celestials, Knull would be able to use all that stored genetic information to control all those things, adding to his army of symbiotes in addition to all these other things too. So the more things that the symbiotes bond with and encounter over time, the more Knull absorbs into his host. So it's like a living abyss that he can just pull stuff out of at will, like an infinite grab bag, TARDIS style, bigger on the inside. It sounds like what they're doing for the movies, though, is they're saying that Venom has the Codex stored in him, and when the symbiotes escaped their planet coming to Earth, they took it with them, cutting Knull off from the rest of the universe, the rest of the multiverse, weakening him. So it actually sounds a little bit more like the plot of Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania, with Kang being trapped inside the quantum realm and needing a piece of technology to escape, and once he did, he would go about this campaign of conquering the multiverse. It sounds like that's basically what's happening with the Knull character. But he's just starting by conquering the Venom universe, then he moves on to the MCU and all the other universes. You also notice that in this trailer footage, you see what looks like Knull in the background standing up, walking around on Clintar with everything going crazy. This actually might be from the post-credit scene where he gets what he needs to actually free himself, and that's how they end the movie, with him coming for the multiverse, like dun dun dun, cut to black. Sony's actually been known to do that before, like putting the actual post-credit scene in the trailers. They even did it during Venom Let There Be Carnage, the last big Venom movie. There was a rumor early on that we would only see Knull at the very end of the movie in like a brief scene. Like they spend the entire movie, it's a bit of like a road trip film with the military and the Xenophage coming for Venom and Eddie Brock for most of the time. Then at the end of the movie, Venom's been spending all this time explaining why they're coming for him, like why they need him so badly. Then they eventually show you that reason, and that is Knull. And it sounds like, based on this big setup, like this just being the beginning for his character, that at the end of the movie, Knull escapes in its RIP universe, like they imply that the war for the multiverse is on. This scene of the xenophage surrounding Eddie also seems like it's at the very end of the movie, because the other footage shows them talking about this being the end of the line for them, like this is the end of the road, lamenting that they were supposed to be the lethal protector. They actually adapted that comic book storyline for the first Venom movie. And it seems like either Eddie or Venom tries to sacrifice themselves to stop Knull and save the other one. But if Knull is freed, that implies that they fail somehow. So here's the other thing about all this footage and them saying that it's the end. Tom Hardy, like I said, just at New York Comic Con, at their panel, he and the director said this is only the beginning for Knull, like there'll be much more big team-up films against him. And even though this is the last movie with Tom Hardy being Venom, like he did this big Instagram post where he's like, you know what, this is the end of the road for me as the Venom character, it's been a lot of fun, but goodbye. At the New York Comic Con panel, he also said he would love to cross over with Tom Holland's Spider-Man in Never Say Never. They also said that Sony planned to do more movies with other symbiotes, so naturally there's a lot of theories about what they mean by this, like what other symbiotes are going to do movies for? What about this big Spider-Man crossover? There is the Agent Venom character, there's the Anti-Venom character, there are a lot of other symbiotes in the comics, but I think really what they're implying is a Tom Holland Spider-Man symbiote storyline, and that is the quote-unquote other symbiote story that they want to do. We had a bunch more theories about a straight-up crossover between Venom versus Spider-Man, but now that Tom Hardy is saying this is the end of the road for him, my early theory is that he'll just become the voice of the Venom symbiote in Tom Holland's head when he eventually gets the symbiote, maybe in Spider-Man 4. There's also been talk of Knull playing some small role in Spider-Man 4. We'll see about that, just because it seems like they're already trying to do so much in that movie. Supposedly there are 2 post-credit scenes for Venom: The Last Dance. One of them, I think, is going to be one of these Knull scenes of him being freed and going after the multiverse. The other one could either be just a joke about something from earlier in the movie, which tends to be the case for a lot of MCU movies, or it could be another scene connecting it more to what's happening inside the MCU. Tom Holland literally just did a big interview about Spider-Man 4. He also revealed that Robert Downey Jr. had a huge influence on what's going on behind the scenes with the movie for a bunch of different reasons. But everyone post all your theories in the comments below. What do you think they're going to do with Knull right after this movie? Seems like it's going to be a little while before they do like a big team-up movie against him, but I know that Sony really wants to get this done. Really hoping when Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man said that he wanted to fight an alien at some point, they were talking about this big Knull crossover storyline. Really big reminder too, my Venom: The Last Dance review, probably going to post this Wednesday, so look out for that in my post-credit scene video, full Easter eggs breakdown. Probably won't post till like Thursday night or Friday after the movie actually comes out. What I'll do is I'll just keep the giveaway open throughout this week, and I'll just start naming giveaway winners in those Marvel videos that I post. Everybody click here to watch Tom Holland talk about Robert Downey Jr. coming back and what's going on with Spider-Man 4, and click here for all my other Venom: The Last Dance videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.